All right. Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome back to another episode of DavidETaylor Full Frontal Exposure 2.0, where everybody's opinion is still a lie. And what we're going to talk about tonight, and this is a premiere, you guys, so it won't be live. I said I was going to do lives, but I would still interact and still post. I did do a live on my backup channel on KathrynKrick, but we talked more about KathrynKrick today. But what this is live is going to be about tonight, and there will be a chat available to you guys also, so just keep that in mind. So there will be a chat. I'll be interacting with you guys on the side on this. This is ultimately going to be about the deposition, right? Because here's the thing, guys. Everybody always wonders, right? Honestly, here's why we have the deposition. I FaceTime with Rick, and Rick had emailed me. This is how it went down. Rick had emailed me and told me to grab a liquid death if I was thirsty in the first place. He said, hey, Alex, grab a liquid death just in case you're thirsty. So what happens is I'd put some videos up about Rick and his daughter, and it was Rick's daughter and Debbie, right? And there's two videos on my channel. And it's basically both of them bashing Rick, right? But what happened? Here's the thing. So Rick gets in touch with me. He emails me. This is April of about 2021, I think. It's April 2021. The pandemic had literally just kind of kicked off. And he had asked me to take down, we had a nice conversation overall. First, it was a nice conversation, nice guy. But in the end, he asked me to take the videos down of his wife, or his ex-wife and daughter. Basically, he said, hey, those videos are damaging to my name. Like, they're hurting me. Like, they're not good. It's like, okay. So I took the videos down. I put them back up eventually. I put them back up because it really wasn't about Rick at that point. Rick knows. Rick, you know you don't fall under the clean hands doctrine in this. You know that, okay? You know you don't fall under the clean hands doctrine. So keep that in mind, everybody, okay? Rick trying to get his way out of this, he did. And David is ultimately a scapegoat for Rick because Rick was doing some shady shit with the Purple Heart Fund charity for veterans, okay? Rick was doing some shady shit. He didn't get caught. Big difference. David, this is why we have the deposition. And I'll kind of sum it up. That way everybody's got kind of an idea. This is what Rick tells me. This is me FaceTiming with Rick. This is the one and only time I've ever had any type of interaction with Rick, was through this FaceTime and the email. He emails me and asks, we had a nice conversation overall, right? But ultimately he called to get me to take the videos down. But he said during the conversation, he had let me in on a few things, right? He had let me in on a few things. And basically, this is what happened, guys. This is what happened. This is why we have this deposition right here. This deposition right here is because David, piece of shit right here, okay? David didn't want to give back $100,000. And this is, let me tell you why we have it. Rick tells me, right? Rick tells me, he says, this is why I deposed David. He's all through the court proceedings, right? It's like, I walk into court one day. Didn't give me a specific day or anything. He's like, walk into court, you know, we're there for this meeting, for the case. And he's like, I see David. And he's like, I walk in, I go over, I extend my hand out, you know, and his assistant sitting next to him, he's like, I don't know who it was, some other guy at the time. He is like, his assistant sitting next to him says, hey, there's Debbie Frazier's ex-husband. And David turns and looks at him. He's like, oh, okay, you know, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Rick Frazier, and hi, I'm DavidETaylor. They exchange pleasantries for the most part. And Rick says, you know, I sit down next to David. He's like, I sit down next to David. And he goes, you know, for the most part, it's nice to meet you. Debbie really needed that money to get her life going after this divorce. Is there any way you can do the Christian thing and give her back just 10%? David tells Rick, don't be ridiculous. Just think about that just for 1 second. And I shit you not. That is what piece of shit here. That's what this prick right here told Rick Frazier, you guys. David told Rick Frazier, don't be ridiculous. I'm not giving her back 10%. No. Here this man's claiming to be a prophet, right? And a pastor and a Christian. Just think about that just for 1 second. What do you guys think? Put yourself in Rick's shoes. Leave your comments in the section, guys. Leave it in the chat box, man. Put yourself in Rick's shoes. What would you have done in that situation? Would you have been able to maintain composure? Would you have come unglued and just made a complete ass of yourself and mopped his ass up right there in the presence of the judge and the court? Or would you have gone the routes to depose him like this? That's what Rick tells me. He says, like, okay. So this is how it all went down, okay? But the initial catalyst, this is how it went down. The initial catalyst, okay? The initial catalyst in this was Debbie. This is what Rick tells me. This is all in our conversation. This everything I'm telling you is in the conversation I had with Rick over FaceTime. I'm telling you, FaceTime, I gave him my information. I was like, yeah, fuck FaceTime. Let's talk, dude. Let's talk. And my question was like, Rick, what the fuck happened, dude? What happened? Of course, he's not going to give me all the 110% details, right? Of course. This is exactly what he says. So after this divorce, he's like, Debbie comes back to me. He's like, Debbie comes back to me about a year later. Flat fucking broke, everybody. Flat fucking broke. Debbie comes back and says, I need more money. I need more money. I'm all out of money. Now, again, put yourself in Rick's shoes. You're on the other end of this. I'm Debbie. You're Rick. I come back to you after a huge fucking divorce. Just put yourself, you guys, think like this. Put yourself, take opposite ends, right? Be Rick. Take Rick's stance for just a moment here, okay? Be Rick. I'm Debbie. Hey, I just fucking blew all the fucking divorce settlement that you just gave me in less than a year. And you know what? See this guy right here? I gave it to him. I gave it all to him. Okay. So Rick's reply to all this is like, okay, Debbie, where did the money go? And she ends up confessing, like, I gave it to DavidETaylor, this pastor. Okay. She gives it to him. Debbie still wants more money. He's like, if you want more money, I want to know where the other $1 million went. Like, Debbie, that was a fucking rack of change. $1 million plus, guys. In the end, it was upwards of $2 to $3 million that she ultimately had to fucking pay out of pocket, okay? To this one man. Not only this one man, but she lost her entire family over it, everybody. She lost her entire family over it. So think about that just for a second, okay? Not only did she give up an entire fucking fortune, right? Enough for any of us, if us being the people we are, us being, imagine if we had $1 million, if any of us had $1 million, I would be able to pay off my house and put the rest away. I'd be fucking set. And I would just work. I wouldn't even touch the other fucking money that was there. I wouldn't touch it. I would let it sit there and build interest. Live off the interest. No, not David. He spends it all, right? But no, Debbie pulls it all out. Debbie pulls it all out, gives it to David. All of it. Everybody. Every fucking dime goes to David. That Jerusalem trip, guess what? How much you want to bet some of that money came out of Debbie's fucking inheritance or her paycheck, you guys? Think about that. Put yourself in Rick's shoes for 1 minute. That's some fucked up shit, you guys. Some fucked up shit. Just to give it all to this guy. This is who she gives it to. Let's listen to who she gives it to.
That address. That was in St. Louis on Patterson.
It was in St. Louis. I don't know.
You don't know
'cause
the
I'm too much
address
of
of the
a
building
fucking dumb
anymore?
It's
fuck.
been years ago.
You said it was just a couple years ago.
No, I didn't say couple. I said years ago.
Okay. And I'll do clips and pits here when we talk while we're talking about this. But so this is where we know David. This is where we come on to David, is this deposition. And why? 100 grand, you guys. 10% of $1 million. Oh, I am not even close to shitting you guys. That's what this whole deposition is over. $100,000, you guys. $100,000 that David could have easily given back, right? He could have easily given it back, and we probably would have not known about David ever. But somebody brought up a good point. It was Jesse Jasko. He's like, I think David would have eventually fucked up and like somehow managed to find himself in some type of shitty situation where he would have exposed himself eventually. And I'm inclined to believe him on that one. I think he would have. I absolutely agree he would have. Okay, where are we at here? All right. All right. Debbie gives it all up. Rick deposes David and Michelle and Debbie. All three of them got deposed, you guys. All three of them got deposed, but we'll never hear Debbie's deposition. Why? Because this is what Rick told me. Again, this is all hearsay because I'm telling you what Rick told me. Rick, I'm pretty sure we'll never repeat this on the record, but he tells me, you could tell Debbie the sky's fucking purple and she'll believe you. So David knew that Debbie was gullible, y'all. He knew she was gullible. Gullible, vulnerable, and easy to manipulate, right? All the prime factors for David to get one over on somebody, right?
Cease owning this building.
I didn't own it. It was a...
All right. So where are we at now with David? Okay. Where we're at now. No, let's try. I'll try and keep this in chronological here while I'm doing this. David, shortly after this, okay, shortly after this deposition, everybody, David finds himself in another case, but with Harold Lewis over the 15400 Tim page that he mentions in the deposition, right? He mentions in the deposition the 15400 Tim page. Well, guess what, guys? He ended up in a lawsuit with that one. Okay. Why is this important? Well, because also while he was in this lawsuit, he was also building the stage down in Florida. Now he's been asked about other lawsuits and they've lied about it. Okay. They've lied about the lawsuit with Harold Lewis. They don't want movie prop rentals to know that. Okay. So David, where was I going? Harold Lewis, yeah, okay, 15400 Tim page. We know about it, the residential center, right? It's the residential center. And what we know about that is, I wanted to look up one of the addresses from earlier too. 17329 Hidden Valley. Okay. I couldn't remember what Nellie's property address was earlier. I was trying to think. I knew it was 17305 or 173 something, but I had it wrong. So what we know now about David at this point, okay, is he's basically locked himself into a Houston hotel purchased from the Eagles Fly-In for $1.8 million, it looks like. It's an absolute fucking dump of a hotel. It's a 2-star hotel, everybody. It's a 2-star hotel. David's running prostitution out of it, everybody. We've been talking about that. Here's where Colleen's just fucking chewing him out.
Center, finish the...
Specific so I can answer your question.
Sir, that's why I was suggesting you not interrupt me so that I could finish the sentence and you'd be real clear what we were asking.
Okay.
He's like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Fucker.
So a residential center,
So
Of course, yes.
okay.
But that's, you know, that's not an office.
15400.
It doesn't have to be an office.
Okay. I
Any-
thought you was talking about a professional location like this.
No,
We have that in Taylor.
He knows
I
exactly
did
what
not
the fuck
limit
she's
my
talking
question
about.
to an office.
Okay, so yeah, be more specific so I can know what you're saying.
Be more specific so I can know what you're saying. Yeah.
I believe I was. All right, so
Not
what is
really.
this residential
So David, now that you're involved in prostitution, do you think you're fucking smarter than everybody in the book, asshole? I don't think you do. I don't think you do, you fuckhead. David, I love the fact that you fucking you couldn't just shut your mouth with Mahesh, right? You couldn't just shut your mouth. You couldn't. Your pride is too big, dude. Your pride is too much, and your fucking schmeckle's too small. I mean, come on, David. I'm gonna switch over mics here. I'm doing a couple tests with mics here, so give me a second. All right, so yeah, I need to adjust the other mic here for sure. Okay, so David. Now, do you think you're the smartest man in the room, David? Do you honestly think that you're the smartest man in the room now at this point?
center?
Oh, this is a place that the ministry owns. Well, not own. We're in the process of buying that. Yeah, we don't
So are
own
you
it yet.
renting to buy or are you?
Yeah, we're leasing to buy.
Now, here's the thing, you guys, okay? Here's the thing. They are indeed buying this property now at this point, okay? They are indeed purchasing this property, and they are purchasing it for 1.5, 1.6, I think. Not sure. I'll have to double check. I'll have our guys check. Okay. So David did indeed purchase the properties, okay? He did indeed purchase them. He owns a lot of properties. You guys want to see how many properties he's owned? Hang on, let me make sure. No, okay. Let's see here. 15,400. I have all my notes right here. 10 page. It's mostly unoccupied. Okay. I'm checking my notes here. Hang on. 1280, 706, 14. Mobile studio set. Okay. Okay, there's always somebody at the main headquarters. It's not occupied. Okay, residential center's not occupied. Hasn't been since 1/31/2023. And well, no, fucking Doo-Doo Comfort went there. Doo-Doo J Comfort went there. So they only use the residential center for special guests, it sounds like. Okay, that makes sense, though. I'll find out how much they bought the residential center for. Let's see, Debbie Frazier, Harold Lewis. Okay, the Harold Lewis case was 4 years. Now, I don't know the cost. We tried to find out the cost, but 4 years, I mean, the same shit that they did with these guys, I mean, with Movie Prop, it's fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Let's see here. Okay, and the hotel in Houston, 1.8 million. That's how much it went for. That's how much the mortgage is on that place. So they got whatever the payment is that month, a month. They put $800,000 down, is what David said in his video. It's what Asswipe said. They put $800,000 down. So if they put 800 down, they're paying another $1 million on top of that. Man, I wonder what the payments are a month for that. Oh, man. Has list of large donors, small donors. Okay. I have just a list of notes here. And Michelle, anybody's wondering, she went to the hospital 10/16/2023. And she hasn't been back. Michelle's gone, you guys. She's out. You guys, Michelle's out. She's done. Gone. We won't hear or see her ever again, probably, unless she's arrested. Telling you guys, she's done. She's out. Okay. So, okay. Good. All right. So back to David and Rick. And if nobody's seen the videos, they're on my channel. Please go watch them. They're just type in. I'll show you where they're at. I think what I did was I tagged all of them in it. Yeah, right here. See? This video, honestly, was one of the first
that
videos I
feels
put
good
out.
and does.
This is it.
My name is Deborah Hoskins, and I want to share with you what took place in my life while I was married to Rick Allen Frazier. He is my ex.
So this is Debbie Frazier. She took back her maiden name, which is Hoskins, Deborah Hoskins. And from the story we got, like, they've kept her there. She almost got out at one time, but somehow they were able to lure her back in. I don't know how, but this is Debbie. And I urge everybody to watch the video if you haven't, and go look at it yourself, man. Look at it yourself. It's you can hear it. You can hear it in Debbie's voice that she just ain't. Katie's even worse.
You guys, I wanted to come and share something with you today because it's something that is very dear to my heart, and it makes me excited every time I talk about it. I know a lot of you know how last year I was struggling a lot with my health. I also know some of you were able to stand and joy with me when I was also.
Now, where's the other one of her? I had another one of Katie Frazier somewhere. Oh, yeah.
Is the deposition videos. The deposition that you see on the internet where Pastor Taylor is speaking, and it looks like they made it seem to look like it's some sort of FBI investigation. It is actually from my parents' divorce hearing.
We're on the record. The time now is 2:41 p.m. in the matter of Deborah Ann Frazier versus.
Ah, shit. Oh, here it is. Yeah, here we go.
This is Katie Frazier. I'm making this video to share with you some
Here it is.
information that I've come across recently. I know I've made videos in the past, posting things on social media about my dad, Rick Frazier, and this is a video again about that. I'm making this video again because I feel like
This is all a coached video. You guys remember that. David has coached these people to say this shit to the camera. Okay? Katie coming on the video here isn't coincidence.
nothing is really
David
being
told her to.
done. Although last time when I posted on social media, I did get a lot of responses and people who were willing to help. So I'm hoping that this will, help again. Recently, a couple of years ago, I moved out of my dad's house, and after I found that he was doing a lot of wicked things and just how he had hurt me, I didn't want to be around him any longer.
A lot of wicked things all the time.
Just a couple
everybody.
things to summarize.
Always doing wicked
that I've
things,
talked
okay?
about previously is when I was younger, my dad sexually abused my sisters and I.
Not
I am
wicked
the
enough to
the oldest
drink your
of
liquid
4
death.
children. There's me, my sister Hannah, my sister Chloe, and then my brother Ricky. And my parents got divorced, and once the divorce
We always try to think how many families David's destroyed. Well, here's one right here.
started, my sisters and I kind of came forward and told my mom that when we were younger, our dad would come into our bed when we were sleeping and would just inappropriately rub us and touch.
Apparently, Rick, no, wrong. Never in a million years would would Rick? Nah, never. Never ever in a million years would Rick do that to his kids. No way. What's this?
Only the new Sleep Number smart beds let you both sleep at your ideal level of comfort. Shop now at sleepnumber.com.
Let me show you something.
Let me show you something. It's a good life. It's a good vibe. It's a good.
What's this one?
All right, hey everybody, good morning. DavidETaylor, you're a piece of shit.
Okay.
I need to speak to him, actually.
Yeah, he's not available. This is actually the prayer line. I don't have a direct number for him.
With
No, sir. This is a call service for the church. I don't have any phone number.
Okay, that's a call service number.
Yeah, all right, thank you. Church. What more do you want us to do? We've called code enforcement on you. Count on it. Mariah, you could be a model. You know
Okay,
that,
sorry.
right? But
All right. Back to the depot. All right.
You own, but you have it listed as an.
Ultimately, everybody, again, why we have the deposition, this is DavidETaylor's $100,000 problem. Had David just given back 100 grand, everybody, had he not just been a greedy little fuck and given back the money, like Rick Frazier asked, just, hey, dude, just 10%, bro. That's all he was asking for, David. David, all he was asking for was 10%, 100 grand, dude. 100 grand, and your reply is, don't be ridiculous. Well, look where it got you now, David. Now, you're actively engaged in prostitution, organized crime, money laundering, human trafficking, sex trafficking. And you're doing it in the name of religion, man. That's what's even crazier. That's what's even crazier. What's even crazier is not more Christians are standing up against these types of people. That's what I find even crazier out of this is less people are doing nothing. Oh, let me rephrase that. More people are doing nothing than there are people that are doing something. Put it that way. More people are doing less and not really giving a shit about it than actually doing something about it. And it's, you know, the ones who should be standing up for it ultimately are like more leaders, more Christian leaders. There's some that do, but there's more that should. David needs to be stopped. David needs to be cut. He needs to be shut down big time. I mean, what church, you guys? You guys, and that's the thing. We hear of all these church scandals online and shit. But you know what? I'm a firm believer. It's not David that's being protected. It's somebody else. I'm a firm believer in that. I really am. I don't think David's being protected. I think if anybody's being protected, it's somebody with power, and David doesn't have power. He's rubbing elbows with powerful people, yeah, but ultimately, David, in the end, would be a loose end. What better way to run a fucking sex trafficking front than to do it through a shady ass fucking cult leader like this, right? Run it through his fucking church hotel. Right? Nothing's being done. And that's the thing. People have come in and said David is being protected, but he's not being protected. I think it's people that are associating. I think people have been seen at that hotel going in and fucking around, and they're high-ranking people. Guys, that's just what I think. Why make it make sense, you guys? I mean, make it make sense, right? Make it make sense. Why else wouldn't this get shut down quicker? People have been coming in the chat lately saying, oh, well, David's protected. No, I don't think he's protected. He ain't protected. Other people are being protected, but not him. Not him. So, David Taylor, here's to your $100,000 problem, the deposition. David, had you just given back 10%, bud, dude, you wouldn't be in this situation. You know that, right? David, had you just fucking stopped being a little prick, right? Had you stopped just being a little prick, David, and given back 10% like Rick Fraser asked for, dude, you wouldn't be in this situation, man. You do realize that, right? This deposition that's right here up on the screen, you wouldn't be in this situation right now. You know it. I know it. But like people say, I think eventually you would have fucked up and you would have been exposed as a piece of shit anyways, eventually. This was just one of them, David. So David, in closing, I was only going to run a short video, a little 30-minute video, not too long. Your problem stems from just not giving $100,000 back. That's what Rick told me. That was exactly what Rick told me. Said had he just given back $100,000, I wasn't going to depose him. But he basically, Rick told me, he said, okay, well, if you're not going to give back $100,000, like, dude, I'm going to fucking make your life miserable, dude. I'm going to make it fucking hell. And he did. He did. Rick had to just start it. So, David, next time somebody asks you to give back a little bit of money and you have a lot of it, it's okay to give, you know? You always say it was better to give than receive, you know? Well, hey, motherfucker, why didn't you give Debbie back just 10%, David? 10% of $1 million. $100,000, dude. $100,000, everybody. $100K. This deposition is a $100,000 deposition. Probably more to David now at this point. But this deposition right here, everybody, $100,000. $100,000, and David could have saved himself a lot of fucking trouble and a lot of heartache. And you know what? We might not know even we may not know who DavidETaylor is if had we not known about this deposition, everybody. This is brilliant. This is brilliant what Rick did. Although I do think Rick did it to try to take some spotlight off himself, but that's my opinion. But yeah, David, your greed and your fucking just narcissistic personality wouldn't allow you to give back the $100,000, David. So David, again, David, $100,000. He's like, well, I got more money than that now. Well, David, is it worth a fucking prison cell? Because David, you're going to go to prison. You do know that, right? DavidETaylor will go to prison. He's going to go to prison most likely for prostitution, organized criminal activity, money laundering, fraud, extortion, sex trafficking, human trafficking. Those are the charges that DavidETaylor is looking at this point, everybody. Just, I am not even fucking close to shitting you. Okay? We know it. We know. Mahesh Express showing up, not a good idea. So, y'all have a good evening. I hope you enjoyed the information. I said this was just mostly about Rick Fraser, about why we have this deposition, and it's because of $100,000, everybody. $100K. No more, no less. Had David just given back the $100K, we would never know who he is.